That is coming from fear. That is not coming out of love. We are supposed to be in love to attract love. We are creating with the most common emotions in our lives.
Welcome to the How to Empower, Create, Encourage podcast. I'm your host, Alessandra Guerra. Thank you for joining me today. I learned so much during this interview, and I'm so excited to share it with you. Turn up the volume and let's get started.
I believe that we have 4 pillars, and we are creating through our 4 pillars, the mind, the body, the energy, and our soul.
How can we find out which wounds we have?
Come to my program, Alessandra. One thing that you can do if you do not come to my program is to observe yourself. Observe, especially how you feel. This has a lot to do with a non-regulated nervous system. If somebody is saying something and you feel criticized, or you keep attracting people in your life that criticize you all the time, it's possibly that you have a rejection wound. The moment you accept yourself and you love yourself unconditionally, you will stop attracting those people. But first, you need to heal your rejection wound so you don't attract people that will make you feel rejected.
I have so many questions, but I'm going to ask you one last question to honor your time. And then I'm going to go through the questions that I ask every guest. Is that okay?
That sounds wonderful because my dinner is getting cold.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. If I have the betrayal wound, what are some tools I can use or steps that I can take to start healing that wound?
The betrayal wound is one of the most common wounds. Humiliation is not as common, but the betrayal wound, the abandonment wound, the rejection wound are the most common. We heal by first observing how we are attracting. We heal by observing the evidence that we have that wound. In the betrayal wound, we will attract people, jobs, circumstances that we will keep on feeling betrayed. One of the questions to ask is, how am I betraying myself? We create with that vibration, with our emotion. In betrayal wound, the main emotions are distrust and fear. So if I do not trust people, I will attract more circumstances in my life, including jobs, where I prove myself that I'm right, that I cannot trust people.
Wow, that's so profound. And you mentioned that earlier, and I love that.
That's why you need to find evidence that you can trust people. You need to find evidence that people are nice. You have to send this order to your being, to yourself, to your brain, that there is good people in this life, that there is abundance if you have the scarcity wound, that you are not abandoned, that you are not alone if you have the abandonment wound, that you are accepted, that you are loved if you have the rejection wound.
Wow, I love that so much. That's so incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're very welcome.
There's so much more that I could ask you because I love the way your mind works and I love how knowledgeable you are and I love how kind you are. I just want to say thank you for sharing this amazing message. I wish I could ask you more. I'm going to honor your time. So I'm just going to ask you the last questions that I ask the guests. What is something you've empowered yourself to do that has improved the quality of your life?
El encuentro con mi alma.
Wow, that sounded beautiful, first of all.
What is that? You're talking about mother.
No, it sounded beautiful. I think it's something like the encounter with my soul, the meeting with my soul, the communication with my soul.
This morning, when I was doing my spiritual routine, I have at least 1 hour routine every morning where I connect with the 4 pillars of abundance and progress and well-being. I connected to my soul again, and this time was so beautiful. I was just thinking about a person that I'm helping right now, that she has the humiliation wound. She felt pointed at all the time by their parents. And now this is affecting her, even her body and her skin. And she feels that she needs to go out late so people cannot look at her. I was thinking what exercise I can do for her. I was just showering. When you shower, you are also very connected to your being. I got this impression that I should do the mirror exercise with her. And I didn't think about that because she's not very comfortable with her physical appearance. And when we have the humiliation wound, we may get weight. We feel that people are looking at us, so she doesn't like to look at the mirror. But I was trying to feel her emotions, and I look at the mirror and I saw, and I know this is going to sound very kind of freaky, but I saw that one of my eyes is so different from the other eye. I was looking at me and I had this beautiful connection, and I saw my left eye and it was so different from the right one. My left eye was bigger. It felt so empowered. It felt amazing. It felt so confident. And the other eye, it felt different. I know this is going to sound crazy, but I asked myself, is this my soul's eye? And I just started crying. And I felt so connected to my soul. Before I work on my wounds, I was so healed and broken like most of us. And I felt that I was not good enough. I felt that I needed to do so many things to feel worthy. I didn't know that Heavenly Father loved me so much, and I didn't need to do anything for Him to love me. In that moment, when I was feeling so connected to my soul, I was so grateful for all the things that I went through. And because of that, I could understand pain, the pain of others, and I can help other people. But I was so happy. My soul, when I am connected to my soul is confident. My soul is not anxious. My soul is not in a hurry like Silvia. Me, Silvia, the human Silvia, is in a hurry sometimes. And we cannot feel God or our soul when we are in a hurry, when we are in a lot of noise. We need to make space for those moments when we are connected to our eternal intelligence, to our divine essence. And that is what empowers me to be connected to my soul, because my soul is empowered. My soul is not in fear. She is immortal, no fear at all. She's never going to die. So there is no fear. And she's not in a hurry to achieve the goals. And that empowers me.
Wow, because she has all the time in the world.
Yes, it's eternal.
Wow, I absolutely love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. What is one thing you'd like to empower others to do to improve the quality of their lives?
You know what is the mother of all the wounds? You know what is the reason why we have all these wounds?
What is?
We didn't feel loved unconditionally. We were not seen and accepted for whom we are. So one thing that is going to help us is just be aligned with the reason why we are all in earth. The main commandment, the main reason why we are on earth, and it is to learn to love, to expand in love. When we were living with Heavenly Father, we felt His love, but we didn't know how to love ourselves. We're dependent on His love. By coming to the earth, we have this amazing opportunity, this wonderful spiritual journey to learn to love ourselves. And it's beautiful. There's nothing better than learning to love ourselves and accepting ourselves. And this is something that I love to do. I love to help people to get to that.
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're
As you were
welcome.
talking, there was something I remembered about what you said earlier. You said, love says accept. You're talking about the mother of all wounds, and that's a lack of love that was felt, a lack of protection, a lack of, all the stuff that comes with love, and the lack of brings a lot of pain for people who can't accept themselves, for people who can't love themselves. What's something you would say to encourage them?
We cannot love someone that we do not know. So get to know yourself.
Oof. Wow, that's profound. I love that. Oof. Thank you. I really like that. Wow. Nothing else needs to be said. That was like a punch. I like that so much. Oof. Very well done. A big message of this podcast, one of my dreams with it, is so that people can feel empowered to create the kind of happiness they want. And I believe that we all were created by God to feel happy and that we are empowered to create our own happiness, to create the life we want, the love we want, the reality we want, and the world that we want.
Yeah.
So my last question to you today is, what is a reality you want to create in your life?
I want to become the best version of myself on this earth so I can become my fullest potential as a daughter of God. But I cannot do that if I do not allow myself to express myself in my humanity. For me to express myself in my divinity, of doing everything that I'm meant to do in this earth, I have to allow myself to express myself in my humanity. So I have to be very comfortable with whom I am. And that I will do through accepting and loving myself, not in spite of my mistakes and flaws, but because of my mistakes and flaws.
Wow, that was beautiful. That was so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're very welcome.
I just want to share how grateful I am for you. I'm so grateful for the love you have, for the knowledge you have, for the kindness you have, for the fact that I get to be your daughter and I get to learn from you. And I love turning to you when I need advice, where I feel like I'm shutting down and panicking and I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I know when you are calling me, I know that there is something that you feel like you are panicking, or because sometimes you just don't call me and I'm thinking, oh, she's right. You know what? I am also grateful for you. I'm also grateful for you and the journey that we had in 2008. And I know it lasted for 2 or 3 years, but I have grown so much as a mother thanks to that journey, thanks to that time that we both share. I'm so grateful that you chose me to be your mother. I believe we are chosen as mothers. I don't know about parents or fathers. I don't know about fathers, but I think we're so. One day we were talking in the living room. I remember that night in Tawasen, and it was so beautiful. We could feel the spirit, and you said we are kindred spirits. And I wasn't sure of the meaning of the word, and then you explained to me, and I started crying. Oh yes, we are. Yes, we are kindred spirits.
I just love you so much. For the people listening, when she's talking about the journey that we shared together, she's referring to what I've opened up a little bit about, not on the podcast, but on my personal page, about my journey with depression and suicide and just how amazing my mom was through that. And I'm so grateful for that. We're actually going to do a video on my mom's channel
Yes.
where we're going to talk about that journey and what it was like for me as a daughter and what it was like for her as a mother. She gets contacted by so many parents with kids who have mental wellness needs and who are overwhelmed because it's an overwhelming journey. It wasn't just overwhelming for me. It was overwhelming for my mom, who loved her daughter, who wanted to take her own life. I can't even imagine having to be put in that position. I just want to say thank you so much for everything that you did during that.
All of that comes from God. He's the one who gives us all the strength, and he loves us unconditionally. So if he's so perfect and he loves us unconditionally, why we can't love others unconditionally? We are so imperfect. Why cannot we love ourselves unconditionally? We are so imperfect.
Okay, well, I'm already way too emotional. So the last thing I want to say.
The last thing, and I'm going to stay here until the next day. probably Theo ate my dinner already.
Okay, the last thing. I just want to celebrate you for being incredible, and also for the fact, for speaking another language. You learned another language and you're doing this interview in a language that is not your first language. And I think you're incredible. And I just love you so much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it that you make me feel comfortable. And I decide, because English is not my first language, and I always felt like my English is not good enough, but I decided to take away the thoughts and beliefs, because it's okay. We are perfect as we are. We're imperfectly perfect.
You're so incredible. I love you. You studied this in 2 languages, and I think that's huge. I think you're absolutely incredible. And I will tell you the last thing, which is which is thank you for joining me on the podcast
Okay,
today.
if this is not the last thing, I just will bring my plate and start eating in the park.
I love you so much, Ma. I hope you have a good dinner.
Thank you. Love you too, honey. Bye.
Oye, mami, ya te quiero. Bye. Subscribe, share with a friend, and join our community on Instagram under @empowered.create.encourage. I'll link Silvia's information in the bio below so you can connect with her. Remember, you can create the life, the love, the reality, and the world that you want. I believe in you.
Oh, thank you.